Hey everybody, welcome to yet another interview. Today it's pretty special though. We have Randy Landers, creator of Project Potemkin. Yeah, there's a wave there. And we have some cast along too, which is awfully cool, unexpected, and fun. We have Cristin Woods, give a wave. We have Leslie Lewis. Hey. And we have Matthew Tramell. Live long and prosper. Alright, so let's get right into it. First question, is for Randy. How did you start Potemkin in the first place?
I had been publishing Star Trek fanzines since 1979, and we've moved our web publishing, or our publishing empire, to the internet, and even still, it's still fading and going away and being replaced by movies. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm doing nowadays is telling Star Trek fan stories. I'm just setting them in a movie using a different media. Same job, same concept, new media. Mm-hmm. So was your big inspiration for taking on Star Trek itself? Is you're a big fan also, obviously? Yeah, I actually remember watching the original series back in 1966.
Not too far behind you, but I saw it in reruns in the 70s. So, you guys were filming today, though, right?
We did.
Yeah. Tell us a bit, if you can, about what you're filming today.
Well, after 3.5, 4 years of Star Trek Project Potemkin, we're moving into a new studio, and we've developed a new ship. And today's episode was a transitional piece between Project Potemkin and the new ship, which is Starship Tristan.
Okay.
So Potemkin and Tristan, and then today's episode was right in the middle.
Okay, cool. Now, for the actors here, how did you guys end up getting involved in meeting Randy and everything like that? Any order.
I went to school with some of the other actors that were already involved in Potemkin, and I heard about it a lot while I was at school and really wanted to join up. And finally, my friend Abby, she's in a few of the episodes as well, she brought me over and introduced me to Randy, and we discussed me possibly having a role, and that ended up working out. In fact, I'll also direct an upcoming episode with Abby together.
Great.
So.
Moving up. So, now, were you a Star Trek fan before you came on with the fan series?
Yeah, my dad was really into, he's really into all the sci-fi stuff, and so I grew up watching it, and so I'm really into it as well.
All right, fantastic. Matthew, how about you? How'd you get
into it?
I
joined in, originally Leslie was already in it, and she's my girlfriend. She's the one who actually got me into it in the first place. It started out with me just doing some sound technician stuff for them, and then one day I came in and they gave me a script, and they started giving me the clothes. I realized today I'm not doing sound. So I've only been in 2 shoots counting today, but it's been a lot of fun, and it's the first time I've ever actually been on camera. So
yeah,
new experience for me.
You enjoying that new experience, though, huh? Learning from it? And
quite fun.
Good, that's great. And lastly, Cristin, how about you?
I was in college at the time, and one of my professors, Jeff Green, is actually the captain of the Starship. And they had an actress who was supposed to be in The Night the Stars Fell from the Sky, which is one of our long episodes. She was supposed to be a main character in that, and she lost all of her availability for shoots. So we shot it over the summer. I had nothing going on. And I was like, yeah, let's do this. This is the coolest thing ever. So I jumped on board, and I've just been participating ever since.
Oh, that's great. Now, it's funny you bring that up. It's a later question, but I'll jump right to it about Jeff Green, because I love Gregory. I mean, he's kind of a badass, you know. He's a great captain, and I wonder how much of is Gregory written that way, and how much of that does Jeff Green bring to it himself? And while you're answering, I'm going to close the window because my neighbor is trimming his lawn. There we go.
Okay, we couldn't hear anything.
Okay.
When we write a script, we don't write it for Lieutenant Ava, we don't write it for Dr. Matthias, and we don't write it for Lieutenant Kenoshi. We write a script that says security, doctor, science, and captain.
Okay.
Each character, each actor turns, and when they get the role for an episode, they turn and make the lines their own. Like today's episode, before we started shooting, we spent 35 minutes going over the script, revising it to fit their characters.
Hey, that's really cool. So he brings pretty much everything to Captain Gregory.
Yeah,
he does.
His own creation.
Yeah.
And Jeff Green puts a lot of thought into every character he portrays. A lot of thought. So he sits down, and you'll see where he'll bring to set a script completely marked up with several different notes in it. If he has any other type of leadership position, he also brings storyboards, and he puts so much thought into every single line of the script. It's really phenomenal.
Wow. Yeah. He's always been a big draw to the show for me. You know, I just love that character. Which also brings up something else. When I think of his character, one of my favorite episodes and his portrayal in it, I can't remember the name of it though. It's the one where they answer the distress call, and it turns out that, you know, on this planet they thought nothing was living on. You know, these things went ahead and ate the landing party, and we're asking for more food. You know, please send us more food. I can't remember the episode. Yeah. Anyway, but that brings me to the four of you. What have been your favorite episodes so far, as you know, participating and just fans and viewers?
It's actually tough.
That is tough.
Good. I got a good one.
So, does it count if it's technically still in production?
Yeah, as long as you wouldn't be letting any cat out of the bag with your boss there.
Well, just the name? Yeah. I believe it's called The Big Purple.
Okay. The Big Purple.
Oh, that's right.
It's great. He's talking about Frasier's Angels, which stars Leslie, was directed by Leslie and Abby. And
edited by me and Abby as well.
Yeah, I just had to get out of their way. I gave them a script, they rewrote the script, they edited the script, they directed the script, and I said, well, here's this big purple thing, and the next thing you know, they just burst out laughing, and they started calling this thing the Big Purple. And it should actually be released to the internet either tomorrow evening or Monday morning.
Oh, really cool. Really cool.
I'm happy that's your favorite.
I'll make sure that there's a link to that episode, too, specifically, in the description below. Yeah, fantastic. Now, anyone else? Favorite episodes?
Well, my favorite episode to perform in, it's probably Darkness. I don't know. In Darkness, I didn't say a lot. I was actually just kind of a background character, filling in again. Mm-hmm. And, it was just so strange. We do a lot of episodes where something strange is happening and nobody knows what's going on until like the last 5 seconds of the entire time. and this was one of those. And it was just, it was about a guy being afraid of the dark, and it was so fun to be a Vulcan reacting to seeing someone terrified of the dark. It was just like, what is this? What are you doing?
And some of you have also been, trained actors also, right? Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
You could give us a bit of your vitae on that. Your resume. Where you studied.
I studied at Darton State College, and Deborah Liz Green was the theater director there. She is actually Jeffrey's wife.
Okay.
And so that was part of my connection as well to Potemkin. And I've been in several productions there, and
Okay. Fantastic.
Right. I probably have the least acting experience out of all of us. All of my training comes from high school, but I really excelled at stage combat. That was really my forte mainly. But I was also taught most of what I know by Deb Green as well. She was a theater teacher at my high school for several years.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I studied at Georgia Southwestern under Jeff Green. He's actually the head of the theater department there.
Okay.
So I got my bachelor's there, and since I graduated, I've continued working with Project Potemkin. I've done extras work and taken several different acting classes in the Atlanta area. Just continuing to learn and continue to play and dabble with it.
I have absolutely no acting experience. And before Potemkin, I had no directing experience. I was a paid extra in 3 movies back in the early 80s.
What movies?
You can see me dining in Sharky's Machine. So, Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds.
That was so long ago. Videos changed film forever.
Yeah, it's been a massive change in a short amount of time. For the better so far, I think, with all the diversity of content it's been putting out and, taking a lot of the control away from big studios. Giving a voice to smaller storytellers like yourself,
We certainly couldn't have done this back in 1980.
No, there's no way. No way. Let's see what's going. Oh yeah, now you do have a new special Klingon episode you were telling me about. Can you give us a heads up on that?
Yeah, that's Battleship Kupak, and it's basically Star Trek from a Klingon point of view. And in this first coming episode, the Klingons don't meet the Federation. They deal with those treacherous Romulans.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wonderful episode that stars Jack Zumwalt, William Searcy. Jack was Captain Kesh in the episode Shovel of Kalis.
Okay.
William Searcy plays a lot of our character actors. And,
I recognize the name. Must have
yeah,
read it several times.
Commander. And it's going to be a wonderful episode. I'm betting it's going to be a hit because it's so much Klingon, it's funny.
Yeah. And none of you guys are in it? It's a different cast?
I'm an extra. I'm a Romulan.
You are? Okay. You have a Romulan in there. All right. I want to make sure we get that in there.
Romulans, and they're wearing their little head things like.
Oh, that's right. I was still a sound guy back then.
You were the sound guy.
Okay.
I think that might have been your first time being a sound guy too.
Yeah.
Now,
I forgot to plug in my headphones at one point.
with you're moving out of Potemkin now, and as you say, you've filmed this bridging story and moving into Starship Tristan. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why don't you tell us about the new story, the new show, and what might people be looking forward to seeing? What are you hoping to achieve with it?
Tristan is going to be different than anything we've seen out there. A lot of Potemkin was different. Potemkin was Star Trek meets the Outer Limits meets the Twilight Zone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tristan is going to be more set toward colony planets. They're going to beam down, identify a problem, and either solve the problem, or not solve the problem, or just leave the problem. So it's going to be similar in a lot of ways to Potemkin, but it's going to focus more on colony worlds and that sort of thing. Cristin will be returning as Tenoshi. Matthew will be returning as Dr. Matthias.
Okay.
They had no idea what my name was before they named me. That's funny there.
He made a debut, and somebody failed to show up, and we're like, just being a sound guy, we're going to put you in a green shirt today, and you're going to work with the 3-year-old child. So, actually, I think she was 4 at the time.
She did a fantastic job.
Yeah. And then Leslie actually becomes a new character. She's not going to play the old character. She's got blue hair.
Okay.
She's part... Well, you tell them.
I'm going to be part Betazoid and part Orion. And I have some issues with my Orion heritage.
Okay.
So I identify as a Betazoid. I don't really tell a lot of people I'm an Orion, but it's there. So that's going to be fun to play with.
She had a hint of green makeup on today.
Okay.
Still has a little bit of it, but it's very subtle.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I always enjoyed the Betazoid species in the stories. You can bring a lot to it.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny because I took one of those quizzes on Facebook about which Star Trek alien I was, and it turned out Metazoid, and I was like, well, I was planning on being one of those anyway, so it worked.
Now, what else can you tell us about Tristan itself? Like, I mean, what are you really trying to do new and different that you weren't doing with Potemkin, you feel?
The series is set in what we call the back 40. It's 47 square light years on the deep edges of Federation space. The captain, played by Keith Harris, who was going to be in Starship Lexington, he's going to come over as the captain. He'll have a new character. It's C.T. Walker, and Captain Walker is not what people expect in a Starship captain. He's a bit laid back, he's southern, he's a bit Sheriff Lobo at times, but he's also not exactly prone to argument. Kristen's character, in fact, has a little run-in with him in the first 30 seconds of the episode.
Yeah. So we've already been discussing the first few scripts for Tristan and trying to plan out, figure out how things are going to change a little bit.
Uh-huh.
When we were discussing it, my character has had, and is going to, in some of the upcoming episodes to be released, is going to have some controversial stuff with the actual heads of
her actions from the night the stars fell from the sky have repercussions that are affecting her career.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right.
Without
too many spoilers.
Without saying too much, certain people are not going to be terribly happy with her being out here in the back. Well, she got sent to the back 40 also.
Yeah.
But they're not happy she's still in Starfleet, but at least in the back 40 doing whatever she's doing, she's at least nowhere near any, where she could do any damage.
Yeah.
More out of sight, out of mind for Starfleet.
Yeah. Never mind the fact that the back 40 is also really near the Romulan neutral zone, the Tholian assembly. The Klingons are going to pop up from time to time, and the Tristan has another ship called the Demois, which is a patrol ship, and it's nearby, and it's the one that, like, if they run into something and a military solution is desired, it's the Demois that comes in. Okay. And there's another ship, the Endeavor, which will basically be like, it's an Enterprise, it's a Starship class, like the Enterprise or like the Potemkin, and it shows up from time to time, and its captain is, he's very, he thinks he runs the whole show. Whenever he shows up,
Full of himself.
Not him, please. It's going to be a little challenging for the Tristan to deal with things without instantaneous communication. They're 3 weeks away. Communications, they're really way out there.
Okay, that sounds cool. And mentioned the Tholians. Do you already have anything in the works for Tholian episodes?
We've actually talked to a puppeteer about a Tholian appliance.
Cool. Very cool.
Also,
I said very cool.
Yeah. They're not as hard to do as you might think, but they're harder in another way. The puppeteer has got to get with me again, and I intend to meet with him in April about it. We want the Tholians to be an integral part of the show because everybody wants claim to this back 40 because it's of no use to one, but for some reason everybody's out there.
Fighting over the scraps.
Or like Antarctica, fighting over Antarctica.
Yeah, there you go. I'm always interested with the Tholian stories, though. I think there's a lot of potential in there because even though there's been a fair bit more episodes written about them, especially in like Enterprise and Series Enterprise, really dealt with them a bit more, but they're still really mysterious, you know. They're insects. We still don't understand what they think like, you know, and there's a lot you could do with that.
It's going to be to the point, you know, if you've ever seen the movie or read the book Solaris, certain things that they do are just incomprehensible. But they do them. And we're just going to sit back and see what they've done, and can we fix this problem? Can we communicate with them? Sometimes we can't.
Yeah. Bring up the issue that just don't even think closely enough alike to even be able to find any middle ground. You know. And what about production? How long do you think you're still gonna be like in the near future for filming and releasing your new episodes?
We have a whole year left. I mean, what is the episode that we just out which did a pickup shot for? Which is a third season episode. Is that third season?
Okay.
Yes, that's the end of the third season.
End of the third season episode. We have 6 episodes after that, so we've got a while to go.
Yeah. Okay. So you won't be releasing the new stuff at the same time. You'll be waiting until Potemkin is mostly all released before you start releasing Tristan and other stuff, or?
Yes, because there's so much overlap in characters with Tristan. People would be confused, I'm afraid. We're going to release 2 episodes this month, possibly, of Potemkin. And we may release 2 episodes in August of Potemkin. And that would get us so that next January we would start releasing Tristan.
Okay. Oh, that's fantastic. See, that's what I want people to know is when they can start looking for the new stuff to come out, so they don't spend don't jump off this and start looking to see. Come on, is it on in a month? Is it on 6 weeks?
Heaven's sake, don't stop watching Potemkin. We've got a year's worth of episodes.
And that's where all the.
Matthew had his first nude scene today.
Yeah, that was a.
You guys skipping past the nudity. I'm sure people want to hear about nudity.
It wasn't full nudity, but I was required to show my nipples because these two didn't tell it. It was nope.
No, thank you.
Nothing.
You
It was full frontal toplessness.
full frontal.
They affectionately referred to it as nippleage. And I was required to have nippleage in every scene.
All right. Good. Well, I look forward to the new episodes coming out. You say maybe 2 in the next month?
Should be 2 this month, 1 tomorrow, or Monday, Fraser's Angels. She's going to have a good time with it.
Yeah.
It's a great episode. I mean, seriously funny.
Great.
We like funny, and we like stories. And we're going to have, that will continue with Tristan. Coming up, the Battleship Kupak is coming up. Battle Cruiser Kupak is coming up, and that'll be a great one.
Mm-hmm.
We've got, what else is for this year? The Chair is coming up, and that's a tribute to the guy who actually helped me build the bridge set in Albany, and we're leaving him behind, so we had to say special goodbye to Miles.
Mm-hmm.
And then, y'all help me out. The Last Child, which is where
First one I showed up in.
yeah, Matthew. Now that's a 45-minute to an hour-long episode
Wow.
with
That's so
loads
cute.
of special effects. It's a solid science fiction story.
Wow. That's your longest piece, isn't it?
Night the Stars Fell from the Sky is going to hold up at the longest at 56 minutes. The Last Child about 45, and The Void about 33.
Okay. Well, actually, then, that does bring up another question I wanted to ask. On something that large, how long from start to finish did it take you to get it done and published?
Cristin, we spent, 19 weeks on Night?
We started shooting Night in May. And then we went all the way through, I think, the first 2 weeks of school in August. Yeah. So, and it was shot the night the stars fell from the sky on the hottest, driest summer record in Georgia.
No.
The humidity in the swamp where we were shooting was 98%. The swamp had dried up.
And we were all wearing long.
Too, huh?
Oh my god.
It was 100% cotton turtlenecks that they were wearing. Leslie's new uniform here is it's a 50-50 blend, and it's a lot cooler.
Yeah.
We started embroidering the instead of using pins, we started embroidering because the pins would droop on the cotton. They droop and droop. You didn't roll.
Okay.
We learned so much shooting over a 19-week period.
So much.
Yeah, cast members that passed out one day.
Oh.
Terrible.
Yeah, every day we would bring like buckets, this giant cooler full of drinks. And the day that we literally had cast members who like fell in the middle of the shooting. They just fell out. So then we took the cooler and it's just like, all right. Sorry. Calm down.
Resuscitate.
Wake up.
Sounds like it was probably necessary.
Yeah.
I watched Eric and Dennis basically went like this with the cooler over their heads with the ice bath. And I'm like, they did that challenge before there was even...
Yeah. They did it voluntarily. They thought it was great.
And I'm like, you guys are...
I'm glad I wasn't on with you guys yet. I don't think I could have handled that.
It was a little horrifying.
It was.
Sounds
and then
like it.
ended up doing... How many Vulcan ears did we do per shoot?
God. I had to do mine at least 3 pairs of ears every shoot. And then there was one day that we had
5 children.
5 children plus the
4
usual
adults.
3 plus me.
And
plus,
me.
Yeah, we had to do Sarah. We had to. I think it was like 12 one day, and it was just non
And I mean,
ears and eyebrows. Everybody.
I'm sitting there going, okay, I can be a Vulcan, and I'm like, we only have one ear. Shoot me from this side.
Yeah, it was you and Sarah sharing a pair of ears.
Now, Sarah and I shared a pair of ears.
Shared a pair. There you go. Ingenuity.
So we were up there today looking through. It's time to reorder our ears. Today we were looking upstairs, and the ear bag has all those ears from was that 3 years ago?
Oh
my God!
It was longer than 3 years ago. It was longer than 3 years ago.
It was either 3 or 4 years ago, and I have a bag of Vulcan ears. I'm sitting there going, I've got nothing but right ears again.
Oh, right here. We don't know where the lefts went, just the rights.
It's like when you...
Well, see, she's got some on now.
Yeah, we've got a
Things that we like about Tristan and we like about Potemkin is we don't see the need to shoot with 15 people on the set, 6 people behind the camera, 2 people in the... We don't do that. We get up there. There were, 3 actors today?
Yep.
We read through the lines. We changed the lines. I mean...
We had a few mishaps.
We didn't have any accidental nipples. We had deliberate nipples.
They found me whenever there wasn't.
Yeah. Like, no, pull down the covers. No, what are you doing?
But, I mean, we did what we had to do, you know?
Yeah.
And we watched these other productions, and I actually edit for some of them.
Oh, yeah?
And I look at people they have in their cast, and I'm like, why do you have all these people? You need this many people. Just, you can tell a story with 2 people. And you mentioned the episode, Delivery, where Captain Picard, and you see the communications officer, and you have an alien that has just eaten the crew, or the landing party. That's 2 people on that set. My wife, I had my wife sit at science just because Jeff was like, we need something behind me. And I'm like, we do. And we had her put on a red shirt, and a red shirt in our production is a trainee. It's a cadet.
Uh-huh.
So she sat behind him to give him that nice color balance with a red background. We had that thing shot in 2 hours. And yet it still holds up as one of
Fine line right there.
Yeah, send the security guards.
Yeah.
Ooh, good.
Yeah.
You know.
And the writing, you all share in the writing, it sounds like?
Well,
She did.
she does.
She does.
For
Yeah.
this script, she wrote it originally, then it was sent off and edited, and then we got it and crossed some stuff out.
Yeah, so, like, it was, me and Randy were talking, and I was like, yeah, I've got this perfect idea. And so he's like, okay, write it up. I write up a rough draft, I send it to him, he tweaks it, he sends it back to me, I tweak
add nudity.
He did. He added nudity. And I was like, okay, yeah, we could do that. And then, again, kind of a running joke between the 2 of us about, okay, if I'm in it, there's nudity somewhere, what's going on? Not necessarily me, but
Someone.
I haven't had anybody come being naked on camera yet, so.
The show's still going
Might
on.
swear when I show up. But
his nipples will end it all.
fantastic.
But, like, Cristin is correct. She sent it off to me. I edited it. I sent it back to her. They got to see part of it today because we were drafting it in Word so that we could see all of our liner notes, and you can see what part we were. We sent it off to Dave McKenzie, who you may know, Dave Mack, and said, Dave, man, you got to take a look at this. Let us know what we need to do.
How long, for a average episode then, do you think the writing takes you from rough draft to, say, Dave looking it over and giving you some edits or suggestions?
How long did that one take?
We probably went, not like every day, but back and forth for about 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah. The idea, we proposed the idea, like, I don't know, 6 months ago. And then let it kind of formulate a little bit, put together an outline, and then
You sent
threw it
the
together.
dialogue. She sent it we were writing it on.
Yeah, it's like, but what if this person says this, and then this person will respond like this, and
Which is great because you can always go back in Facebook and pull up your conversation with somebody and cut and paste.
Yeah.
Can't get rid of it.
it never.
Never get rid of it.
With the episode Leslie rewrote with Abby, I had written an episode and they said it's not funny enough, and I'm like, okay. And then next thing you know, they've got a hilarious script, and we've got Big Purple flying around, and people running around, and the girls are in charge, and it was a solid episode.
It's really good. Exactly.
It's the most ridiculous villain name I've ever heard, and I love it.
Oh, you give it away. Now they know it's a villain.
Oh, sure.
Oh.
Man.
Spoilers.
Sorry.
Now you're even more confused. How is a villain named Big Purple?
How purple is he? Is he really purple?
He's purple.
He's purple.
Oh, he really is purple. Ah, see.
Yeah, we
More
even posted
secrets.
pictures of it on our Facebook group. You can go to Facebook and look for Project Potemkin, and you can join. I don't usually tell people no. In fact, it's an open group, so you can see it without joining. But you can sit there and look at a picture of Chris Cameron from one of our visual effects artists did a spectacular job on designing Big Purple.
Cool.
And then so what does it need to do? And I told him what it needed to do, and he said like this, and he sent me a link, and I'm like no, and then next thing you know, three iterations, boom, we had it down perfectly.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, we'll make sure to put a link in the description below on this one too to that Facebook group, if people want to check that out.
If people want to see, if people want to just keep updates and see little spoilers and teasers for each episode, the Facebook group is a fantastic place to follow Project Potemkin.
It is the place to find pictures. You want to see pictures of us and see if you want to see what we're going on. William C. Searcy, who I mentioned earlier as an actor, he's our unit photographer as well. If you work for Potemkin, you wear more than one hat.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Kind of understand.
Sound person, but William is our unit photographer. He's brilliant photographer. Does beautiful work, and we're glad that he's been able to help capture some of the shoots, like the shots that he did for them for Fraser's Angels, were done in a particular style, deliberately, and you'll see what imagery he evokes with his pictures every time. You're going to
Backstage, like
oh, that's like
Romulan and we just take a bunch of random pictures on the Potemkin where we snuck on, we beamed on, and then we go into the ready room and we steal some of the captain's liquor before getting locked in the fridge.
it's like a photo montage.
That's cool.
It's hilarious. And they'll bring their little picture phones and take pictures. And I have a very lively casting crew. And we keep it fun too. I hope we always keep it fun. We're not to the point that we won't. Golly, no, I've never told y'all to hush or anything seriously like that.
Only when the camera's rolling.
Oh.
No, like that. You're giving us a heads up. The camera's rolling. Like,
Oh well, yeah.
I've never heard you actually
I have
on to anyone.
Yeah, I've never.
There was one time, and it was when you had the perfect shot. It was the end of the sequence, and then the cameraman in the back walks into the shot to get a photo.
Awesome. That was awesome. Though.
And we're talking to Philippe Rene of Star Trek Reliant. We're talking to you. We have the visual evidence. It's beautiful. The scene's perfect. And suddenly, Philippe goes in.
All right, Randy.
It's ruined.
Perfect shot. Cristin answered perfectly, and Randy forgot to hit record.
So they
Oh
did
no.
a beautiful take. It was perfect practice.
Perfect. Perfect practice.
See,
That's great.
Take, what, 5 more takes to get it right?
Yeah. Well, it did.
He said, "Oh, that was perfect." Oh no.
Oh shit. You're like, I don't even want to say this out loud, but guys, I forgot to hit record.
Well, see, if I were a bad guy, I would just simply say, that wasn't good enough. Do it again.
Tolkien, Dr. You name it, the main ones.
Mm-hmm.
I was an avid reader as a kid. At about 6 years old, I actually demanded my brother read The Hobbit to me.
Yeah.
He couldn't, so he made my parents read it to me. After that, I spent many nights watching Stargate with my dad.
Uh-huh.
I love that show.
Yeah, it's a great show. I like all of them.
I grew up with no cable, so we had an antenna, and one of the channels would play Next Generation Star Trek reruns, and that's what I would watch just like after school. I also I anything with Joss Whedon. I have to watch that. And then I've seen every single Stargate episode. I love Stargate.
Fantastic.
That's how I bonded with
See,
my brother.
I told you they
Yeah.
weren't Star Trek fans. They're
I like
Sci-fi
Star
fans.
Trek, but I didn't start until Enterprise. So, and that's really the only one I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But that's fine. I started with The Outer Limits, The Twilight Zone, Star Trek.
I watched a lot of Twilight. I still watch the Twilight Zone.
I read James White's Sector General series.
Mm-hmm.
I still read Grinn's Uplift series, both trilogies.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite is remarkable book ever written. As far as modern science fiction, I kind of avoid the Sci-Fi Channel.
It's kind of gone to shit.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I
but
think it moves in cycles for sure.
Yeah.
yeah, you know, I love David Tennant's Doctor Who and Chris Eccleston's Doctor Who. I haven't liked the past 2 Doctor Who. And sooner or later, they'll get back around to one that I like. I love Tom Baker's Doctor Who.
Oh my gosh, he's my favorite.
I think my all-time along with, you know, the same arrogance all the doctors had up till that point, you know, and still being like a bit of a dick, really, you know, but he had the hair and the coat and the car, you know, and he's always running, you know, driving off with, you know, on adventures, and he was a dashing doctor.
I think one of my favorite episodes was one in which I can't remember what his name was, but there was some cop that just wanted to punch everybody, and he was with the 4th Doctor, and the 4th Doctor, Tom Baker, he's just like, no, you can't do that, and he ends up, the cop helps him escape, he's like, why'd you do that? I haven't figured out his plan yet, I got caught on purpose, and I was just like, yes!
People's favorite he was the first one that brought any real zaniness to the doctor lightened it up a bit, because all of them before that were, they're a bit tough and a bit, overbearing, kind of, old men kind of, they were all like that until Baker.
Curmudgeonly.
Yeah, that was a good word for it, yeah, they're like, the grandpa on the bad side of your family or something, but with a time machine.
Mad grandpa with the time machine.
So science fiction was a big influence for the direction you all took then with your...
I think that's just Eversol, who has written, I'd say, more than half of the stories that we've done. They're always good. They're always science fiction. Dave Mack is doing a great job. His The Last Child that's coming up later this year, probably in August, is just as science fiction as you can get. But a lot of times we sit there. I can't tell you the number of times I've been sitting at Long John Silver's with a napkin and a pen and I have a script ready.
Trying to write through the grease spots.
Yeah, sometimes that grease spot helps. You're like, what was that? Oh, I don't know.
I'll fill it in.
Well, well, we're having pizza at Nina's Pizza down the road.
Ah, I'm completely envious.
Where's Long John?
Yeah. Straying from the science fiction, moving on to more important things like, fast food.
I don't know. I consider pizza its own food group.
Yeah.
It kind of has everything in one.
Yeah.
It kind of does.
It's the perfect space food. That's how I look at it.
There you go.
The whole
It's a saucer section.
One of the things that we do at Potemkin, and we'll continue doing this, is if anyone wants to get involved, we would love. We'd love you to take me. We'd love to cash by myself to somebody else. For people to come up, contact us. You can contact me at producer@projectpotemkin.com. And if you're in the Birmingham area, or if you're in Montgomery or Tuscaloosa or Huntsville and you want to come over one afternoon, we will put you to work. And then when we're done, we will feed you. I mean, that's one of the things that somebody told me, well, we never get fed. And I'm like, I have never not fed the Castor crew. They either get donuts in the morning or sandwiches in the afternoon, and occasionally if we run late, we'll get pizza at night. But
Feed the machine.
And, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I just said feed the machine.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you feed the hand that helps you.
But, I just wanted to tack on. We'd be happy to carpool with some people if they also want to get in on this.
Okay.
Make it easier for me and Leslie to get down here more often.
In fact, all three of them.
We all carpooled together today, so.
Okay. So we want to repeat that contact one more time for people?
Sure. It's producer@projectpotemkin.com. And just tell me what area you're in. I can put you in touch with, well, I may not put you in touch with Tristan. But
Communication skills, not the high.
no. I'm talking about that. I was talking about your special friend. We've had. You remember what I'm talking about?
Not really.
I'll tell you later.
We've had
Inside jokes.
Yeah.
Secrets. Secrets.
But we'll put you in touch with somebody that's in your area that's coming over this way. When you're coming, come on. All I need, though, is, like, somebody says, what do you need? And I'm like, I have most of the tools. I have most of the material and the lumber. I just need people to help, like, believe it or not, one person building an 8-foot by 8-foot wall takes an hour and a half. It takes 2 people 10 minutes. I could definitely use the help.
Okay. I'll make sure there's a link in there for that too. Make it easier.
That would be amazing.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem. It's going to be a lot of links down there.
Lots of links. Want to join me?
Well, we appreciate.
Oh yeah, I thank you. It was really great. It was a nice surprise to hear that there's going to be cast members on too. So, I mean, wow, look at that, 4 people for the price of 1.
Yes.
It made my work so much easier.
I'm so glad they were going to be here because I'm like, oh great, I don't have to do the interview by myself.
And I didn't really have to do anything. I've actually just been playing a game on my cell phone. So I'm giving you shit.
It's also like you barely even been looking down, so
That's skill.
great memory.
Skill right now.
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's my 4th one, so I'm starting to memorize a little faster now. So I'm in my 4th interview, not my 4th draft. Oh my god, I'd be.
Oh no.
Lot, and we'll see you around again in the future, have you on. And so people know tomorrow is the 15th, right? March 15th. The new episode of Potemkin will be out, and then watch again for another one shortly after that. And make sure, if you can, and you're in the area, you want to help them out, you want to help them build set, do whatever you can. The links are going to be down here too. And besides that, live long, prosper. Thank you very much for being on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do it over his head.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Great. Okay, guys. Well, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. Just time.
Night.
Thanks a lot.
Night.